Welcome to the SoilCraft Regen Agronomy Podcast. At SoilCraft, our mission is to innovate and lead in the field of regenerative agronomy, forging a path that empowers farmers to produce food that nourishes and heals both the planet and its inhabitants. Hello and welcome to the Regen Radio Podcast. Denver Black here with the huge these days, Craig Harding, because we live together here in Zambia. For those of you that are following our podcast regularly, we apologize for the interruption, but Craig went back to the U.S., I went back to the U.S., we did our best, and then we got back to get back in stride. But I think we're nearly there. So we're finally having time to sit down and have a discussion. I want to start a mini-series within the Regen Radio Podcast. We're going to do our best to... Why are we using this platform? Well, just because it's an exercise to force at least me to be more brief, because that's the scenario, and we want these things to be practical for you. So in this mini-series, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about kind of like the bedrock of our programs as it concerns you, the grower, and us as a company for what we sell. I mean, we do our best to do the best regenerative agronomy advising we can, taking tests and building systems and being in fields, etc. But at the end of the day, we all need tools. And so we try to carry the best tools we have. And over time, that's led us to realizing that we can combine some of these best tools, and then actually we've been learning over time how to create our own, how to manufacture our own. And so that's led to SoilVigor. Enter SoilVigor. What is SoilVigor? Anyways, well, I want my soil to be vigorous, right? But what is it? And so basically, it's a soil prebiotic. By that we mean prebiotic. Like prebiotics are big these days, right? Everybody knows what a probiotic is. But what's a prebiotic? Well, it comes with before. Well, it feeds biology. It stimulates biology. It invites biology. And you might say, well, why do I need that? Well, I'm glad you asked, because biology is the key, right? Yeah. If there's any one good thing we've got out of this regenerative movement, it's that soil is alive, right?
I think, yeah. And I think it's kind of, the one place in all of the economies that, if you build it, they will come, is actually good counsel. It's one of the, I think, farmers' favorite movies maybe of all time. And some of the worst economic advice for, building almost anything. But in the case of soil, if you build it, if you put the right things there, in the case of biology, they do come. And that is one of the good things for farmers.
Well put. Absolutely. Exactly. I couldn't say it better myself. And also to note that this is one part. This is, we feel like, it's like a steroid, if you will. It's a big force multiplier. Yeah. But you do the hard work. I mean, the work on the farm is the good work, the hard work. And so you have to prepare that environment first and foremost there. You have to minimize, it's the regenerative principles, minimize tillage. You have to manage that soil residue. They have to have a roof over their head. They need to have water as much as possible, living roots, integrating livestock, all that you can do as a farmer. But one of the main reasons we developed the product and we lean on it so heavily is there's oft times when it's a challenge to maybe integrate livestock. It's a challenge because we can't grow as many crops as we want, or maybe we didn't get a chance to grow a cover crop like we wanted to. And those microbes, they still need food.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I experienced, I'm a new farmer, so 10 years into farming, and it's a rough industry to land in, new, with no background, no family farmer in the to call up and say, Grandpa, what, nothing. And so I remember, we were growing bananas and growing wheat. And to a large extent, we were primarily looking at, the NPKs, right? The basics of that. And we, of course, learned quickly that you need to do it more than that. And, I remember my banana fertigation list, what we're going to put together and put into the microjets, going from, I don't know if it was, 6-7 products to, every person on the planet showing up with something new and with claims. I remember my desk, piles of different things, many of them now biological or organic, and the claims that were there, that were astronomical. If I could take all those products and buy them by the studies they had, 20% yield in this, 15% yield increase in this. why shouldn't I buy them all? And I can grow the best bananas that have ever grown. I mean, maybe, several hundred tons of bananas on a hectare. Of course, it would be the sure way to go broke, not actually to grow double your bananas. But the other part of it that was really painful was when it came to the guys fertigating, because I didn't buy all of them, but I did buy a number of them, and a number of them that I think were good. And I would send the guys to go fertigate in the fertigation tanks with a list of 15 things to get, with 15 different measurements, some in liters, some in grams, some in, and sure, opportunity for confusion.
Yeah.
And very complicated. And so those are some of the things that we face when we want to make change is, well, I thought it was just the chemistry salesman, the drug dealers that want to sell me poison that would bring me all these things I have to use. And now the next thing is it's the bug guy. It's the biology guys who I think are my friends, but now they're confusing me even more than the other guys. Well, what do you do? And so I think that's where some of this comes in, is saying, isn't there a better way to get the 80% of the change that we need with the 20% of the things that change the most, rather than taking all of our time trying to balance out what we can afford? Can we do it in a way that's cost effective and is simple to apply? So we can go on and do the right things, the cover crops, the grazing, all the things that we're told we need to do that we don't have time to do if we're researching all the stacks the guys bring to the gate every day.
Yeah. And after all, I mean, I know you've seen, like I have on my own farm when I was farming, that the impact of a cover crop, the impact of any one of these regenerative principles is magnanimous. I mean, it's a game changer. I mean, that's why you're here. I mean, it changes your whole paradigm, because you do see something just absolutely massive. But then, like you say, the dizzying effect. I mean, I've spent almost as much time in this space now off the farm as I did on the farm. I mean, I don't know if many people know that, but I mean, I spent over a decade on my family farm doing exactly what you're doing, and getting into regenerative, converting it to regenerative agriculture and no-till and grazing and cover crops before I went out of the space. And I'm now into the advising space. And when I entered it, I couldn't get out of the farmer mentality, which I think has been good, because that's who we work with, is farmers. But exactly what you're describing was my experience, even from within. I'm saying, this is dizzying. Like, where do you begin? Hundreds of products, and they're all making these claims. And this one, and then you read 10 products that claim they do the same thing, but in different ways.
And I'll tell you, the irony for me was, and it may not be this way everywhere, but here, the irony of it was, when I was in that, going through everything, trying to weigh everything out, you start asking the question, so who's actually a farmer that you're getting product from? Who's ever sat in my seat to make these decisions? And, in my case, there was one failed farmer and there was one actual farmer among all of the people selling product that I could deal with. And so what did I do? Did I talk to them? Well, no, they have a game, and, they have a dog in the hunt. So what did I do? I ended up starting and calling the best farmers that I could find in the country to ask them and get insight to wade through, hey, what's working and what's not working. And so I think that's one of the things that's advantageous to dealing with actual farmers is, what are you dealing with? Are you getting good counsel, or you're getting someone who, hey, do you even know a farmer outside of your job? In some cases, they don't.
So the end result, at least for me and for us at SoilCraft, has been, I mean, we didn't enter this space to get rich. We entered the space because of conviction, and we're partners, and so we want to solve farming problems, and so we've had to pull back and try and ask, how do we look at this differently? Instead of looking at it from all the tools we can go out in the marketscape and find the best. This one gives you 20% yield. This one gives you 15% less this, 20% more of that. Instead of doing that and then coming to you with that. Instead, what we've done is, number one, gone to the drawing board and literally put all of these products out there and then type them categorically. What category do each of these fit into? Because there are categories of biostimulants, categories where this one's a caloric aspect. It actually gives calories to microbes. Well, this one has a stimulating effect. The metabolites actually elicit a signal. I mean, for instance, did you know? I mean, protozoa, the in the soil underground ecology, if there's not enough protozoa, then earthworm eggs won't hatch.
Yeah.
But once there's enough protozoa, there's a signal that causes the trigger of earthworm eggs to hatch. It's these signals, elicitations. And so, anyways, what we've done our best to do is to find things and group them into categories, and then ask, okay, of those categories, now what are the best types of products in each category? And now of those, how do we get this to the farmer at the lowest price so we can get the greatest output? And how do we combine them so you're not juggling 15 products?
And I think that's for us. I mean, we're inland, so transportation is not everything, but it's almost everything.
It is.
And for me, a 30-ton truckload of product, it's going to cost $6,000 to $7,000 US just to get from South Africa to here. And so that's huge. What am I shipping?
Exactly.
And the answer is usually water.
Water,
and a little bit of something.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in a meeting with one of the representatives, and they were like, well, it's really exciting. We've gotten a product. We're now going to have a mycorrhizal product in powder form. And I said, hallelujah.
Yeah.
So how much of that savings is going to pass on to the farmer? It wasn't even crickets.
Yeah.
Like stones started flying almost. So
You mean it's the same dollar per hectare?
I'm like, how can this be? We just cut off, 3/4 of the cost of the product, and the product got more expensive. Yeah. Hallelujah. It's in a dry pack I can put in my shed and it lasts longer. Really? That's the extent of the benefit?
Exactly.
So eliminating distant water products to me is a huge piece, because I'd rather buy the thing. I can get water locally.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, of these categories, they're depending on where you are. Like in Washington, where we're based in Washington State, I mean, we're right next to the western coast. I mean, we get fresh Pacific salmon and crab for our ingredient there. Not so here. So we have to find different sources for our protein hydrolysates and for our chitin sources. And we're doing that. But the beauty of manufacturing in the local regionally is that we just look around to find what are our waste streams locally and regionally that we can take. There's a waste, and sometimes it's an environmental issue, and we can actually recycle those and do it at a reasonable cost.
And I think one of the things that you have to be aware of is, in the organic or in the let's say biological space, is not everything is your friend. Like early on, we began to play with a product, and it was great, fantastic, in a liquid form. And they're like, so excited, we've got this powder, this is a different product.
Oh boy.
And I got it, and I put it on my strawberries, and they didn't produce for a whole year.
Oh, goodness.
Well, what happened? Well, the thing that was fine in a dilute form, when it was concentrated, now I got salts and I got lots of, chlorides and things that were masked in one form. And so I think it's important when you're talking about sourcing, is it being responsibly sourced for high value compared to risk?
Yeah. And so, I mean, what we're talking about doing, this is going to be an intro episode to the series coming, to try and give you an idea, a context for a product which is what? It's a prebiotic. Now that's a bit tough because it's a bit like a multivitamin. And so it can be like, so I'm just supposed to put this on and then I hope for the best. And the bugs will like me and they'll visit me at night and say thank you. No, that's what this series is going to be about. So what I want to showcase, what we're going to showcase and go through categorically is, like, this product is, again, built from categories, from basic ingredients that are treated with care through fermentation and through careful process. But they're not necessarily rocket science, but the science behind them is solid and dependable and been around for a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, sometimes ages.
Yeah.
And that's what we're building it on. We're not building it on the latest, greatest thing that got tested in a lab and then went out to the field and then had nothing versus this, and now we've got this. These are third-party independent trials produced over time through universities, etc., that actually show that there are results, and not just a result here or there. And what we're going to show you, what I want to look at differently is, I don't want to start with yield. I know that would be a farmer wants to hear, I'm going to get more yield. Will you get more yield? I will tell you that when you farm regeneratively and you use holistic programs and models and systems this way, and you work with nature, you will make more money. You will have more profit. And your farm will endure hardship better. You will be longer lasting and more independent and more free with your finance, which allows you and your family to stay on your farm and to make choices and to truly be sustainable. You will be economically resilient, which will help you to be ecosystem resilient. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through this categorically. So we're going to look at it as the list of ingredients and how does each of these impact things that you care very much about. Things like nematodes, fusarium and verticillium wilts, Phytophthora and Pythium, bacterial wilt and blights, leaf spots and fungal foliar pathogens, nematode and fusarium complexes. This is a dastardly duo here, which is kind of like a reason. We may do that in just the nematode episode. Salinity, pH, stress, and abiotic diseases. And then we're going to look at the beneficial soil food web and how this actually, we're going to look at the good side. So how it's not just the diseases that are suppressed, etc. And then we're going to wrap this all up neatly with a bow and talk about how this will accomplish your long-term, not just farm, but family legacies, etc. And so, I mean, what I need to say, and we'll say now, and again, make a disclaimer here, we are not saying that anything we do cures, treats, or kills pathogens. We're not saying that, okay? No, just disclaimer. We're not saying if you have this problem, get this, and then it will kill or it will whatever. What we want to show you is that if you build it,
they're going to come.
They come. And so what we want to talk about is you have an opportunity to set a buffet. Basically, you as the farmer are building your city. So the question is, are you going to build a slum or are you going to build the best suburb you could imagine?
It's very much SimCity. If you remember or have played SimCity as a kid, you build the right things and the right people come. You build the wrong things and the wrong things come. And so, if you're talking about soil, okay, yes. What we're talking about is how do you get the right guys to show up? And so it's a focus on something that feeds the right guys so they show up. And science proves when they show up, they do certain things. They consume certain things. They mitigate certain things. The product didn't do it, but the guys who showed up at the table, they did. They're the bouncers for the bad guys.
Exactly. So if you build a slum and feed them, cake and pie and drugs, I mean, is there any mystery as to what the outcome will be? But you build a wonderful, beautiful place and you feed them all the best things and your outcome will be predictable. And so the challenge often is, as a farmer, we can feel very overwhelmed, like, how am I going to get from here to there? And so it can be very tempting and pleasing to just, if I just buy this one thing, and it's so easy to just keep doing what I'm doing. But guys, come on, get real. We know that if we're going to see major change, we have to make major changes. And we know we've been doing this a long time, and we know that making these little changes are not yielding big results. And so there are things that you can do that can give you confidence. But the best thing you can do is reach out and talk to other farmers who have made the jump and can assure you, look, with my own pocketbook and the future legacy of my own farm, we've made the jump. It's worth it. And when you decide, okay, that part's for me, then we invite you to allow us to be a part and help you through that process, because it's systems. We work in systems. And so this is about feeding the good guys Your job is to make the environment for the good guys. When you made the environment and a home for the good guys, when we feed them, oh man, we see incredible things. We see soil grow literally before our eyes.
It's impressive. And I think that's the key is, do we want to invest in, water from across the world, or do we want to invest in nutrition and do that at a price that's more affordable and we actually get more in the ground and in the bin? I think that's what matters. And at the end of the day, it's the affordability, it's the the profitability that matters with the quality, that you can walk your kids in the field, you can look your customer in the eye and say, I'd eat this and really mean it.
Yeah, that's good. So stick around for this series. Join us in the next episode where we talk specifically about nematodes and on how using a probiotic could change the landscape of nematodes. And spoiler, they're not all that. That's right. So stick around. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us as we expand our paradigms and explore what's possible in the realm of regen agronomy. If you would like to contact us or learn more about what we do, please visit our website at www.soilcraft.com, as well as our YouTube channel. If you have topics you would like us to unpack or stories, please connect with us so that we can share them with others.